Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a little bit different to those quick little 5-minute videos that I've been posting in the mornings. And as you can see, a little bit of a different environment. This is actually my bedroom. I feel like I've got a little bit of a OnlyFans setup going on here. So maybe that's where we're off to next. But what I want to do with these, this is going to be, I've got the name that's been just stuck in my head for a little while, but it's Sam's Sunday Sermon. Basically, the intent for me to bring to you guys with this, and eventually what I want to do is actually give you live access. So this will be a place where we have the ability to actually communicate. So I'll eventually stream this once I get everything set up and commit to this frequently. So basically I will be trying to do this every single Sunday. So this is a commitment that I need to hold to myself and I need to hold to you guys. But once I get that happening regularly and I start getting a little bit more traction and people start engaging a bit more, what I'll do is start doing these lives and start streaming them so that we can interact directly with each other. And then as I am doing these videos, what you guys will be able to do is throw in a question, and then we can actually nut that question out whilst we're going. So that's the intent. But for now, I don't have the capability or capacity, I guess, at this stage to be able to do that. So yeah, here we are, just going to be recording these and getting them done so that they're at least underway. And then I get into the practice and habit of doing this every single Sunday. So, but the intent for these basically is for me to read through some of the writings or the, same as what I do with all my other stuff, just in a bit more of a longer format. So I'm not sure how long these are going to go for, possibly an hour, possibly just until I run out of content. But what I want to do is just bring a longer format to you guys so that we can maybe nut down on a little bit of the nitty gritty stuff a bit more than what we do in those quick little 5-minute videos that I share. So, and what I'm going to do with you guys today is bring you an introduction into what's going to be my first book, or at least I believe it's going to be my first book. So I started this notepad here when a little while ago. So just started off as a regular old notepad. I even wrote in it, the first lines that I put in there were, well, here we are again, I still don't know what to write. And that's the way I start a lot of my writing, because it's a practice. And there's a lot of times where I do my writing and you get writer's block, or there's just that block in creativity, and there's just a barrier between myself and the paper and what I'm trying to I guess articulate. So just by getting the practice of writing, getting it started, hence why I write. Here we are. I don't know what to write, but I'm writing this, and I literally write those words, and what it does is just gets it flowing, and then from there I just write, and then all of a sudden, I've written a few pages of whatever it might be, and then it's amazing at the directions that can go when that happens. Excuse me. But what I'm going to do today is read you a bit of a snippet. Like this is, I'll be interested to see how far along I get in this. But I'm going to be reading you a bit of a snippet of my writing from this book. And this is very personal to me. Like, I struggle with sharing my writing a bit. Like, I'm getting better. Letting my ego step aside a little bit, and then actually just sharing it with you, because there's a lot of valuable content to what I write. I've had a fair few people now start telling me that I need to get my stuff published, but all in due time, and we'll get there eventually. I just need to continue on with this book, and I'm probably about halfway done of my first draft, which is exciting. So let's see how long that takes to finish. I've got about 60 odd pages to go and the way that I'm writing it is I'm just basically going to complete this book, then I'm going to type it up on my computer and thin out what I need to, and then expand on what I need to as well. So that's obviously going to take some time before I get that completed. So, but I reckon I've got a couple months left, and I'll have this finished, which is exciting. And for me to be able to even be in the process of writing my own book is just a bizarre concept to me. But it's been a beautiful practice, and something that I'll share a bit more of once I sort of get a bit more, I guess, once I complete this first draft, I'll probably share on the practice a bit with you guys. But it's been very interesting, and I've really enjoyed the process of doing it, and the creative flow that I've been able to get from it, and especially over the past little while, just really finding my groove again and getting back into it, and it's flowed beautifully. And then some of the stuff that's come out, it even surprised me when I write it down. So hopefully it surprises you guys as well. But sometimes my intelligence does, I guess, shock me a little bit, and it's beautiful. I love it. But what I want to do is bring you this this snippet from the book, and what we're going to do. This is part way through, so it's going to be a little bit disheveled when we first get into it. Like it's just going to be a bit random, but from there it's going to flow, and hopefully it means something to you guys and resonates on some level with you. And if it does resonate with you, I really want you to let me know. This is the whole point of why I do this is so that you guys can question your own beliefs, or have your own beliefs questioned as well. And that's a big part of it, and that's where my Holy Trinity framework, which we'll touch on, my Holy Trinity framework really challenges your beliefs. There's no definitive answer to anything, and Socrates, I believe it was, said, the truest wisdom is that we know nothing. Something along those lines anyway. I've probably bastardized that quote. But anyway, we know nothing. Like, even if we think we know bucket loads about something, we still just have no idea about anything. And life in particular is that way. So, but anyway, let's get into it. What I want to do is read this out, and if I have any thoughts that come to mind whilst I'm reading, I want to try and articulate that out as well while I'm going. So we'll just, we'll see how this goes. We'll probably go on some tangents. I'll probably read like 5 lines, and then we'll just go on this complete tangent, and we'll be 3 hours deep into this video. But we'll see how we go. Let's get started. We are all part of the process of the universe. Your part of the process is to be here with me, reading or listening to me. Mine is here, writing this out for you and for me. Let's start taking a look into the pillars of your existence with a little bit more detail. That's referring to the Holy Trinity that I was just talking about before, for those who aren't aware. So this is coming at it with the same randomness as the start of this book. Again, we're partway through this book, so as my mind is when I write, it's very sporadic. So is the way that this book has been formulated to this point. So see how it comes out when it's a final product. I want to keep some of that randomness and sporadicness in there, but yeah, we'll see what happens. See what happens when I get it edited. They'll probably tell me it just needs to be changed, but bugger 'em. We'll self-edit it then and just launch it ourselves. But anyway, I digress. So, the Holy Spirit pillar of the Holy Trinity. I'm going to start with this pillar because it might be the most difficult one for us to wrap our head around because of the image that has been painted over the past few millennia by different religious groups, especially if you were raised in the Western world. The idea of God has been bastardized over the years by many different religions, and the biggest issue that I believe we have is the fact that many of these religions are teaching us that God is an external experience. God is apparently this man up in the clouds that is watching our every move. Now, there is something that I want to make abundantly clear before we move forward. I'm not here to change your mind on what you believe God is. This, after all, is just my own belief of God and me trying to understand the experiences that I've had, some of which that even when I reflect back on them, they seem kind of crazy. Further, this being my own beliefs and experiences, but I'm also very much aware of how much I still have to learn. After all, I'm still only 31 years of age at the time of writing this. This whole next passage is simply designed to open up our own awareness. No matter where your belief systems lie, whether you believe in God as this external being that is watching over your every move, or whether you believe that you are God, or even if you don't believe in God at all, please keep an open mind. Your beliefs are just that, your beliefs. You are entitled to them, and I'm not here to judge you for them, but as I mentioned earlier in this book, I am here to challenge your beliefs just the same as I am here to challenge my own and to have mine challenged. Let's begin from where my beliefs lie. You probably already have a fair understanding. But I believe that we are all gods. We all have the power of creation within us. I also believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us, each and every single one of us. Many of the issues that we have in this world is because we are looking externally for the answers. Many of the issues that we have in this world is because we are looking externally for the answers. To find those answers, we need to be looking within rather than without. Where does your own belief fall when I mention the word God? Is it with that bearded bloke up in the sky, or does that word God just make you disconnect because it is attributed to all of these stories of old that you can't let yourself believe? Whatever your belief is, let's look at why you might have that belief. Unpacking your belief system might help us to look at things more objectively. Being open to new ideas is crucial for our own development and evolution. The dogmatic nature of many of today's religions showcases the fear that they were built around. You're not supposed to question many of the religions as that is supposedly going against the will of God. But what is a belief if it cannot be questioned? What kind of an insecure God must they be if they do not permit their own existence to be questioned? Think about the other aspects of your life. What about the love that you have for others? Can you question that? If someone questions it, surely you could defend it, right? Or have you ever questioned your love for somebody else? I believe to have a true faith in something, then it must be questioned. For how do you know that you have the right answer if you can't even ask the question? The answer is, you can't. The answer implies a question, and a question implies the answer. Without one, the other does not exist. But let's go back to my belief system. You. Who are you? What are you? Why are you? Simple questions that are actually impossible to answer. You simply are. I simply am. The actual correct answer to all of those questions, if we were going to be able to answer it, is simply this. I am. Anything outside of I am is your own ego putting a label onto your own existence. Who are you to think you even know the answer to those questions? Who are you? Sure, you might say, well, my name is, insert your own name here, or maybe even simplify it a little more, I am me. But even that simplified answer to what could be an infinitely long response is not correct. After all, who is me? This me that we are talking about is just a process of the universe expanding onto itself. You may or may not even be conscious. You could be just a simulated consciousness that isn't even technically alive. How do you know who you are? Outside of this weird label, this weird vibration of our voice box that we and the people within our lives have agreed is what we shall be called. Further to that agreed upon label, We characterize ourselves by many more labels that are given to us by those who surround us. But none of these actually tell us who we are. Nor could we ever use them to describe us, as once more, this would be an infinitely long list. What are you? Easy. You're human, right? Well, yes and no. You are human, but that human is made up of an unimaginable amount of smaller creatures that are all tirelessly working together to simultaneously create you and destroy you. There is this constant battle of war and peace that is flowing throughout your body, and without that ever waging war, you wouldn't exist. So where does that human begin and the rest of those creatures stop? So what actually makes you, you? And what makes that you? If your finger is attached to your body, is that you? What about if you cut that finger off? Is it still you? Where do you begin and where do you end? Why are you? This question has plagued me for many years and is one that could fall under the philosophy pillar. And we will touch on this more later. But from a soulful or spiritual point within your existence, why are you here? What is the point of your existence? Why have you been given the opportunity to walk this earth amongst other entities doing the same thing? Do you have a divine purpose for this life? Or are you just a lucky coincidence of nature? If you do have a divine purpose, are you to know what it is? If you have got this far, I would like you to take a moment and think about those 3 questions. Maybe even do some writing on them should you feel inspired. Feel free to pause the video here if you really like. If you think you want to do a bit of writing and philosophizing on those questions. Who are you? What are you? And why are you? The only true answer, once more, is simply, I am. You are within this universe as much as it is within you. You are a part of this universe as much as it is a part of you. After all, you are literally made of stardust. The hydrogen, the carbon, and many other building blocks within you were formed in the hearts of stars. Formed in those stars, and now they are within you. Here's a little fact that you might not know. God, in its original language, when translated into English, roughly translates into I am. You were made in the image of the gods themselves. Without your existence, without your consciousness, the gods wouldn't exist. Much like a mirror, without you standing in front of it, there is no reflection of you. And to touch back to my point earlier about an answer implying a question and a question implying an answer, same with God. God has to exist for us to exist, and we have to exist for God to exist. So it's this, there's this beautiful cycle of everything. There's me going on a tangent, obviously, uncalculated thinking and just word vomiting. But anyway, we'll go back into it. Much like a mirror, without you standing in front of it, there is no reflection of you. To understand this dimension of you, this is going to be an inward journey. This could be an instantaneous realization, or it could be a long, drawn-out process. It is all on you to discover and explore. Remember, someone can help shine a light on your path, but it is only you who can walk it. Going within yourself, no matter where your beliefs fall, can bring upon the ultimate knowledge of your connection to everything that is a part of this universe and the universe itself. No matter whether you believe in God or you believe in the Big Bang, we all have to agree that we are all connected. Going within will allow you to make a connection with the energy that is the creative force that is behind this universe. You will get to meet the producer of the play that you are involved in. You, after all, are an actor on the stage. You have just forgotten that you are the actor. Going within will allow you to get a peek behind the curtain, maybe even get to have a look in the green room. This is an experience that can be had no matter what your belief is. In my belief, I feel that the label God is just that, a label. And that is a label or name that people put onto the connection that we have with that creative force. After all, that creative energy is within us and literally everything in this reality. Meditation is one way to find your connection to your source energy. Meditation has been taught for millennia by many different spiritualities and religions. Even philosophy talks about. It is finding the center point or the singularity of your awareness. This is the center point of all three pillars of your Trinity. When you experience this awareness, this energy, this God, you will gain an understanding of those three questions I asked you earlier. Who are you? What are you? Why are you? Then you will start to understand the answer. I am. So, that's a little about the spiritual arm of the Trinity. I do have plans to do some deeper writings on each arm, but for now, you will get a brief introduction of each arm or branch. Let's have a look into the science realm. Science is the language of the universe, and mathematics is the alphabet. Science has to be one of the most confusing things to understand. The concepts, theories, and peer-reviewed science that is beyond our wildest imaginations. Or at least, so I am told. This is all stuff that I have read, listened to, or watched. I don't know if this shit is actually true. I'm just choosing to believe these people. Quantum mechanics doesn't make sense. The Big Bang doesn't make sense. The double slit experiment doesn't make sense. The Large Hadron Collider doesn't make sense. This reality, when looked at under the microscope, is even weirder than any sci-fi movie could ever try to be. What about black holes? Those things are confusing and scary as hell. Without them, though, we wouldn't exist. One of my favorite words is spaghettification, which is what would happen to you if you fell into a black hole. Let's have a look into what it means. Let's have a look into what it means. A black hole is a space of infinitely dense gravity. Gravity so intense that not even light can escape. Also, because time is relative and gravity is something that can alter our perception of it, yes, another weird science fact, time is not linear like we have been led to believe. There is a point out at the outside of the black hole called the event horizon. This is a point where gravity becomes so dense that even time itself stops, or at least our perception of it stops or ceases to actually remain relevant. The reason I point this out is because if you somehow fell into a black hole, depending how you fell in, the difference in gravity between your head and your feet will be so great that you would be stretched out into spaghetti for eternity. And because of that whole time dilation thing, if we were to watch you do it from the outside, we would basically watch you fall into that event horizon forever without seeing you actually enter the black hole. Kinda spooky shit, right? I know that when I think about a black hole, I get some mild existential dread. So, that is what spaghettification is, and we have one of those suckers in the middle of our galaxy. We also know of one so large that it is trillions times heavier than our sun, and is much, much bigger than our very own solar system. Science is mind-boggling. The numbers are mind-numbing. This stuff is so outside of our realm of understanding that it can't actually be understood. Which doesn't make sense. Anyway, first draft, bear with me. Not really. Like, we can kind of comprehend it. Kind of, but the numbers are so large that most of us can't even imagine it properly. And I touch on numbers later on in the book. So, buy it when it comes out, and yeah, we'll crunch some numbers together that will change your perception of a lot of things. Kind of like numbers are so large that most of us can't even imagine it properly. Much like most of us are so poor that we don't actually properly understand what it would be like to be a billionaire. They are literally too rich for our broke minds. Now, what I'm saying isn't that it is not possible for you to become a billionaire. In fact, very much the opposite. But statistically speaking, you are too broke to understand it. Much like we're too feeble-minded to understand the size of the universe. As much as science doesn't make sense, it is the fundamental truth of this reality. I believe it was Ricky Gervais that said this. If you burnt all the science book in the world, eventually we would have them all again. It would obviously take a while. This is me adding a little bit into it, but it would obviously take a little while, but science is science. It is repeatable. It is observable. It is only considered science when it is peer-reviewed. Whereas if we burnt all of the religious texts, we would never get those stories back, because that is what they are, stories. Whether you believe them or not, they are all just stories. Stories of what may or may not have happened. Stories that may have been changed over the years. Stories of people who are trying to conceptualize an idea that cannot be conceptualized. As the Taoists say, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. I'm not saying that any book is or isn't true. All I am saying is that whatever story it is, it was just some person's version of a chain of events. Now we understand that science is actually stranger than science fiction. We also need to be worried that we don't make science into a new religion. Science can't be blindly followed. Everything must be questioned. We assume that we know things, but all we are doing is believing some information that someone has said along the lines. Much like the religion, right? So, this is a great example, and is the reason that my number one goal in life is to see the Earth from space. This is a wild life goal to have, but is something that I expect to achieve within the next 20 years. But let's have a look at the age-old debate of the Earth being flat. We believe, or at least most of us do, that the Earth is round like a globe. But what if it isn't? I can't 100% confirm that the Earth isn't flat, simply because I haven't seen it from space. I haven't seen it with my own two eyes. I haven't seen this big giant rock floating through the infinite void that is the universe. I am just merely choosing to believe what the nice science people tell me. We already know how weird science actually is. It is kind of unbelievable, but yet here we are, believing it. This very same belief system is what some condemn others for in their own belief systems. We have just turned science into a religion. The only difference we have with science and religion is what story we choose to believe. That is it. And it is on you that it is what you believe, and no matter what you believe, it is true for you. Because that is your belief system, but it is yours and yours alone. You are a unique creature that is the only entity that will ever have your particular belief system. It is our one purpose of our life to understand your own belief system and to live it to its full potential. You not only owe it to yourself, but you owe it to everything and everyone. You are unique, you are beautiful, and you are purposeful. Once more, your belief system is yours and yours alone. I am here trying to articulate my own so that I can try to help you understand yours. By helping you, it is helping me. By helping me, I am helping you. And so the vicious circle begins. By learning to articulate myself, by formulating my thoughts, I am utilizing that third and final pillar of the Holy Trinity, philosophy. Philosophy is our ability to think about thinking. It is the utilization of the beautiful gift that we call the mind. The mind can be our best friend, but it can also be our worst enemy. We as humans are the only entities alive that we are aware of that have the consciousness that we have. I mean, as the double slit experiment tells us, our consciousness, or maybe more to the point, our awareness, literally transcends time itself. This is how powerful you are, you time-traveling majestic creature you. I do hope that you are starting to realize how special you actually are. If not, please keep reading, and many doors will open up for you to realize your own importance. The power of your mind, once harnessed, is your greatest ally in this world. It, like the other two pillars, is a gift. But this gift is different to the other two. This one you can decide your outcome. By you making a choice, the other two pillars will follow suit. Even your anxieties can be your ally. Traditionally speaking, we see them as detractors, but your anxiety can be a friend. All we need to do is reframe your thinking. Your thinking. And that is what philosophy is. Do you think we know more about the universe or the human mind? Both have been studied in one way or another for millennia, but it is only within the last couple hundred years that we have only just started to understand both ends of that spectrum. The mind and the universe, two opposing ends of the scale of existence. Scientists have no real idea about either, but we have also learnt so bloody much. And what we are doing right now is philosophizing about our existence. Me writing about it with the concept of you reading it right now. Yes, you. I am using you as my purpose to write this book. So, once more, thank you for your existence. But because you are here, reading or listening to this book, you are also philosophizing about your existence. Excuse the dogs, they're, hey, come on, quit it. We're back. The purpose of this book is to challenge your perception of your reality, to help you realize that the story you tell yourself is your ultimate reality. You have the power to change the story that you are telling yourself, and you can become anything you want. Oi, come on. Carrying on like pork chops. Like, literally anything you want, but that is a story for another day. One day when you're ready to take responsibility, because that level of responsibility is something that you relinquished many years ago. With philosophy, we have the ability to decide our outcome. You have the ability to decide who you are and what you can become. So what do you want to become? I don't mean the role that society tells you that you are supposed to be. More, the actual role that you want to become. What role were you born to do when you came out of this world? No, that isn't a typo or misspelled. You came out of this world, not into it. The reality that you are experiencing came out of you because it is your consciousness that created it. You are the only person that is ever going to experience this version. Dog's still carrying on. You are the only person that is ever going to experience this version of you. And this version of you is the only thing you will ever experience. Well, kinda. Don't you think you owe it to yourself to be the best version of you that you can be? That's the you that you decide to be. No one else. Because this is your reality. And let me fill you in on a little secret. You are the God of your reality. Literally. I hope I don't give you too many existential crises through this book, though the road to enlightenment isn't a pretty path to take. There are times that it will be surrounded by rainbows and flowers, but there is also existential dread. Remember, you need the rain to have the rainbow. As you peel back the layers of your own reality, you will be uncovering generations of trauma, and some of that shit runs deep. That is why the path to healing isn't so pretty. But you have the ability to decide for the generational bullshit to stop with you. That is the power of philosophy. That is the power of the mind. So now we have got a basic understanding of the three pillars of the Trinity, and they're all fundamentally you. All crucial for your own existence within the right here and right now. I hope that if you have come this far, you have a bit more of an understanding of how fucking important you are. This universe needs you because you are the universe. Everything out there is also within you. You have the ability to more closely bring the vibration of your own existence to the vibration of God. That is a state of harmony between all pillars of the Trinity. Once you start to bring your awareness in alignment with the entity that you are, your ability to achieve everything that you could ever dream of and even beyond will be unlocked. You will become liberated and limitless. You will be liberated from disease, liberated by the rules of this world and your body. Liberation from that story of who you are told that you are, and liberated from the story of what you tell yourself that you are. When you get liberated from these areas, that is when you truly become limitless. Limitless in what you can achieve and what you can become. How is a state of liberation and limitless achieved? As all lessons I will ever try to teach, the answer is incredibly simple, but also complex beyond comprehension. That is the beautifully painful paradox that is our existence. The secret is, you have always had this grasp of being liberated and limitless, and as you traverse deeper into your path, the more you will realize this. This is where we start blurring the line between some belief systems. Remember, the idea of who you think we are is just some story that you have chosen to believe. Once more, whether your belief system about your creation lies within God, the Big Bang, or anything in between, is simply that, your belief system. That is a story that you have chosen to believe. Let's take the sun aspect of the Trinity. This is also the body aspect. This pillar is your own body, your flesh and blood, the trillions of cells that are coming together and harmonizing for whatever reason to form this giant meat sack that carries your life. This is the only meat vessel that your conscious awareness will ever see, and look at the way we treat it. When we say that you owe it to yourself to be the best version of you that can be, we mean all of you. But I think that's probably about enough for now. There's much more there, but now we're just going to sort of drag this on a bit longer than it probably needs to go. But that is a snippet of my book. This has been an incredibly personal journey, and I'm excited to bring this to you guys and take you along that journey with me as well. So if you have any thoughts, any moments in there that really set a light bulb off for you, I would be more than excited to hear about it and to maybe unpack that with you as well. So feel free to leave a comment, slide into my DMs as always, come find me on social medias and do the same. I love hearing people's different thoughts and concepts, and by us talking about them, even if we have opposing views, by us talking about them and actually having a discussion, not a disagreement, we're having a discussion, then what we're going to be doing is expanding both of our awareness. We're not there to necessarily change each other's minds, but what we are doing is expanding the awareness for both of us. So slide into those DMs, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all of those fun things that we're supposed to say in these sorts of videos. But that's me wrapping up. Sam's Sunday sermon, all over and done with. I do hope that you guys got something out of that. I know it was liberating for me, so we're on that path to becoming liberated and limitless. But yeah, that's it. So signing off. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for my Monday video, but excited to bring back these longer format videos with you guys as well. So catch you later, and as always, much love and namaste.